Plus they get something, find out that to put it
Okay.
together.
Good morning. So 10 Henker Farms on first. Christopher, do you want to start? Take us through what's being proposed? Or anyone else?
Is Chris Carthy there?
Looks like he doesn't have his camera or audio set up.
I'm the landscape architect, Robert Schweitzer. Who,
Oh, hey, Robert.
good morning. Good morning, everybody. Do you have the plans
Yeah.
on the screen? Chris told me that you would have the plans on the screen, so I didn't bother loading them.
Yep.
Is Zoom still an option for us?
To join by Zoom?
You have to come in person now.
Okay.
You have to shower.
If you saw me 20 minutes ago, you would not believe that I'm saying.
What a transformation.
Because your hair is moving.
It's weird to have a meeting with your pants on.
Shame.
Oh, that
Okay.
friend of yours
You
yesterday,
can see it now,
Michael Pappas. Yeah, no, Tom.
Robert,
Yes,
Yeah.
you're good? You can see this?
I can see that. Yes, the forms. Yes.
So what plan do you want me to pull up first?
Why don't you start with the site plan?
Christopher, right over there.
That's the survey.
Yes, we're going.
Is this the one you want?
No, that's the original Giuliani plan, I believe. That's my cover plan. L1 will be the site plan, that one there, correct. So, so if you zoom in, you can see the proposed pool. You can see the wetland setback, which touches which, you know, the pool is slightly into that, as you can see. There's an environmental, I'm just trying to remember all of this now. It's been a while, but there's, I believe, a
Conservation easement.
conservation easement. Thank you. Yes. So, you know, we butted the pool up to that.
Much moved.
That was my phone. Sorry about that. And so when designing this, I went into the field a number of times, and it was apparent that the brush line was altered. I don't think by this owner, by one of the previous owners. And so I took that as an opportunity for give back and mitigation to extend the brush line out, the proposed brush line, to create significant buffer and a detention area, which you can see on the left side of the plan, where stormwater will be collected via slot drains in the pool and then conveyed directly to the detention area. The detention area would also serve as a drawdown, winter drawdown for the pool. And so I added that in the buffer. The buffer is, I'm not going to say monumented, but there are boulders along the brush line to make it more permanent. There's also an overflow weir, and that will discharge into the Mianus. There is a little bit of buffer between the weir itself and the apron to the river itself. So the soils were very sandy, loamy. We had good percolation. I had Anthony Passari perform the calculations. You have swales around the side of the pool that are conveying water to the sides of the detention area so as not to fill that up. And it's a simple layout for the most part. If you want to go into, before we leave the site plan, well, you also have the septic system. Let me get into that. That was taken from the Giuliani plan. And because we didn't have an as-built to go by, but somehow Frank got the septic system. I think we also looked at the Board of Health, and Chris couldn't find anything there either. But I may be wrong on that. So anyway, that's the septic system, but we have to track over that to access the site area. So there's steel plates that bridge that gap. There is also an expansion area, which is shown, I think, more at the top of the plan. So that is respected as well. It's basically a straightforward pool. The fence is incorporated as a design element at the edge of the paving around the pool, and then comes back to the gazebo where there's a gate there. So it's all self-contained in that regard. There are plantings that basically surround the pool itself on the wetland side. And then there's some plantings in the detention area. If you want to move on, have you seen enough of the site plan so we can move on to some other drawings, or do you have any questions at this point?
I think the major issue is, why mess with the
Pardon?
conservation easement and the buffer at all? Why not pull all that out? Why are you going into the wetland buffer? Why do that?
Well, you see how tight this is. You have that existing gazebo there. And so you go through the.
Other
Pardon?
parts of where you have the vegetable garden, that other side.
Yeah, why couldn't you handle the stormwater with a simple infiltration system, since you have deep sandy soils?
Yeah.
And put it over by the vegetable garden, stay out of the conservation easement. It just seems like it's so much disturbance. I would question have you spoken with New York State DEC about putting that stormwater so close to the.
John, that's a perfectly fine solution. Putting the
Wetlands.
infiltrators over by the vegetable garden or something like that is, we could look at that.
Yeah, we were open. This was our first pass, and I took the tack to put the detention area there as part of the buffer and didn't think it was hurting anything. You're going to find equal disturbance if we have to put in infiltrators on the other side to dig down, but the soils are very sandy and would certainly support infiltration.
But Bob, I guess what his point is, if we went into where the vegetable garden is, then we wouldn't be in the conservation easement or in the wetland buffer. Is that correct, John?
No, you're in the
You
buffer.
might be in the buffer, but you're much further away from the wetlands.
Exactly.
And you're not in the conservation easement.
Yeah, and I think we'd want to see the conservation easement restored, right? So you've got, you encroached into the conservation easement there, but, I think that should probably go back to unmaintained buffer, essentially.
As I show it, you mean?
No, at the conservation easement line, right? You're proposing it further into it, right?
Well, it's all lawn now. It's all lawn. So that there's a
Yeah,
tremendous.
that's my point. Yeah, but it's all lawn in the conservation easement. That's not good.
Right.
Well, it was originally, I don't know the history of this site, but I believe the way it appeared to me when I was at the site, and Chris, you speak, you weigh on this too, that a lot of that lawn was there when the house was built, was
Right.
created with the house.
Bob,
And-
I think Adam's point is now that we're before the RPRC and they have an opportunity to basically restore the conservation easement, they're going to take it, I think is what he's kind of implying.
Yeah, look.
Am I right?
That's exactly right. You're putting a pool in the wetland buffer, you're putting the stormwater management in the wetland buffer. I think the least you guys need to do is restore the conservation.
So essentially at the pool.
The conservation area.
So you're saying where the pool basically ends, and that's where the conservation easement is, that the buffer area would go up there. Would that be a no mow area, or would the client be permitted to mow that area?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the latter then, correct?
Yeah, yes, you know, maybe you want to do some pollinator or some other restoration.
Wildflower garden.
That'd
Okay.
be really,
But Adam, are you suggesting that we pull,
Better.
John, are you suggesting that
It's
we
not
pull?
clear for me, where is the wetland buffer line? It goes, the whole pool is in there?
well, it goes like this.
Is that the conservation buffer or the wetland?
Well,
Conservation buffers down, see on the bottom
this is,
left.
this is the concept.
That's the conservation buffer,
In
yes.
the blue. So it's not clear, it looks like there's only a very small portion right now that's in the wet.
Correct.
For,
Oh, the whole
and,
pool's in the wetland.
Well, all this.
oh, I'm sorry.
Although that Adam is really meant to be mitigation. That mitigation in that area could be moved out of the wetland buffer and put between, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what we're,
that's
that's
still a
exactly what
wetlands.
we're suggesting.
Yeah, there's a wetland setback, but it would go between the conservation easement line and the wetland setback, essentially. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that's preferable to put.
Okay, yeah.
Where
Okay.
so the detention, the stormwater detention systems would be where the vegetable garden is in that area between the two lines.
That's the only
Yeah.
other area you have for it. You have the well up
Right.
front, you have the septic on the other.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot. You know, you have to tweak these plans, right? You can't have any structures in the conservation easement, so it looks like you gotta move a couple feet, but
Okay,
Bob,
I think
hold on a
we're-
second. Bob, what do we literally have in the conservation easement? I mean, is there any structure at all? Forget the dealing with the infiltration or the rain garden or anything like that. Thank you, Adam. What I'm getting at is there any
Yeah,
structure
so
that's crossing over into the conservation easement?
it looks like part of the
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
spot does.
Yep.
and then I think right here. Yeah, it's just right here. This wall and.
So
Actually, no, isn't that the wetlands? That's the wetlands line there, the heavy dark line. You see the 100-foot wetland setback arrow.
So where's the easement line at?
The thinner line to the left.
Oh, this one.
Out, yeah.
Okay, so then if you're good, then you might be all right.
You might be all right.
Yeah,
So I want to make that clear, that we're respecting the conservation easement by the skin of our teeth, okay? But we're respecting the conservation easement.
yes.
Yeah, we want you to do, you have to do that.
I know that. But what I'm getting at is, in terms of tweaking the plan, the way I see it is, and I think I should have seen this earlier, but I think Bob's thought was that the detention basin, in fact, was improving the wetland buffer as opposed to a detriment. I think Bob was thinking that this was in fact an improvement to the wetland buffer as opposed to a detriment to the wetland buffer, even though it's disturbing.
It's
Yeah.
all lawn there now, so that we're not
Correct.
taking in any brush out. You're not
Right.
taking, it's
But
all lawn.
Christopher, generally speaking, right, we don't count stormwater mitigation as really a benefit in the buffer. In fact, we count it as disturbance. That's the
I understand.
opposite. So if we can move it out, that will be better.
No
And then we
problem.
want to get that area restored.
I don't have a
think we-
recollection of this being before the conservation. board.
No, this is the
Yeah.
first time we're
Okay.
seeing.
All right,
Right.
so it's kind
No,
of,
this
yeah.
came before a few years ago.
Oh, but for that first
The
iteration,
first plan.
yeah, which didn't have that disturbance in the conservation.
Right.
So now, all right, so I think we've got the parameters of what we'd like to see. Next, we need to talk about how we want this reviewed, which was to Andy's point. So what would you like to say?
Yeah, and
about
I
that?
think this needs to go to the conservation. Board.
Okay.
I understand the mitigation and placement.
Yeah. Do you want this to come to the planning board, or so we could call it a minor
Go
activity?
there first.
We can call it a minor activity and have the town engineer approve the wetlands permit and go to the conservation board, or we can have it come to the planning board. Steve, any thoughts?
I appreciate that. I just not knowing where the, as long as John and you were good for the infiltrators and,
Yeah,
administratively, I'm fine with that. If you guys, and I just don't know the little gray area is how would we repropagate the, wetland buffer? In other words, is he gonna replant it or?
Yeah, and I think
That's what's gonna arise
that's
at
what we
our,
want the
at our level. So,
conservation board.
I think it should go to the conservation.
so I'm okay administratively with the bigger, the infiltrators and stuff, but that's fine. Conservation can go. Take it from there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So I'll make a motion to send this to the building department with an administrative wetlands permit that requires conservation board review.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Andy,
Yep,
are you
that's-
okay with that?
I don't know, I mean, I guess I don't understand the administrative approval part. If you're saying it doesn't need to go to the planning board, then I
what we're
really don't
saying
care,
is
as long as
like-
it's gonna be coming from conservation.
Approve it, where your board will review it, and provide comment.
And provide.
Yeah.
Technical infrastructure.
I think in terms of the role of the conservation board, there's not a difference if it's
Correct.
an administrative or if it goes to the
Correct,
planning.
that's what we're saying right now.
Yes,
Because I think there's a very strong meeting of the minds of what this site plan is gonna look like, right? We've got the basin coming out, and we've got the restoration of the conservation easement and the infiltrators going
Right.
next to the pool. There's nothing else for the board to discuss. If we had the applicant say, no, that's not the direction we wanted to go, and, you know, we have a different vision, then yeah, then the planning board's gotta really wrestle with it. But here they've agreed to it, and the planning board's not gonna improve it beyond that,
Plus the state DEC's gonna look at it.
plus that. All right, so let me just make.
Because of where it is, yeah.
So building. Admin. Wetlands. CB review. And I think that's the best way to move this and get it reviewed. And who made you second?
You just,
never.
is there more plans or that's?
Yeah, there are more plans.
You know, Adam, before we go to the next page, I just want to, make sure that I'm clear in giving the professionals direction here. So we all agree that this plan is respecting the pool itself and the structures, not the infiltration system, not the stormwater management system, but the pool itself, the structures of the pool are respecting the conservation easement, correct?
Yes, that's what it looks
Are
like.
we okay with the fill in the conservation? Because it's fill in conservation.
How much fill?
You see the contours here.
Oh, yeah, okay, well, Robert, do you need to do that? You need
As
to
far as the
regrade
grading?
there?
Or can we just build
Yeah, just build a small wall. It's only a couple feet.
can the edge of the pool be a wall? Just drops down a couple of feet
Yeah.
instead of putting fill in the conservation.
Yeah, that could. I mean, we flushed out to grade. I have swales around this thing, so it directs water around both sides of the pool. That's what you see for the most part. But I will do my darndest.
Bob, hold on a second. John, is it better to, is the grading in the conservation easement, even putting the monumenting, the wetland buffer, for example, requires placing some stone. We thought about putting some boulders through that wetland buffer area to monument the wetland buffer. That would be going on in the conservation area as well. Is that a foul ball, putting those boulders in the conservation easement?
No,
That's fine.
that's not
Okay.
disturbance, so that's fine.
Okay, now is grading that conservation easement and then restoring it with the, like you said, some planting material that would go in the conservation easement, but grading it before we put that planting material in there, ripping out the lawn, grading it, and then putting in that planting material in the conservation area to restore the conservation area, is that acceptable?
We have to read the conservation easement. Typically, it's not permitted to fill grade, but each one's written slightly differently, so I'd have to
Right, I know, that's why I included a copy of it, and
Here, no, so no quarrying, excavation, removal of rocks, minerals, debris, sand, topsoil, or other similar materials within the easement shall be permitted.
Mhm.
Uh,
Except in connection with the activity or construction.
No depositing, dumping, no building. No remodeling of the terrain, so no. So
Okay.
that's
Take
no
conservation.
removal of trees, remodeling of the terrain, so that's grading.
Mhm.
So I'd say no, and if you can avoid it, then you don't have to deal with this.
You mean if I have to grade it, I've got to deal with this conservation easement?
Well, that's the way I'm reading it. No removal of trees,
Right.
remodeling of the terrain, or creation of a dam. Okay.
Mhm.
No dams.
Isn't the term conservation self-explanatory?
No, because you've got the document that you have to refer to, which really does explain it. And they're written differently, but this one seems pretty restrictive.
Mhm. Mhm. Again, that's why I included it, because but I haven't read it in a while. All right, so I mean, listen, the bottom line is, in order to avoid grading the conservation easement, what I can do is find the lowest point that I can possibly work with, make that a fixed elevation, and then cast from there, outside of the conservation line.
Exactly. Yep. Is there anything else we need to go over on these plans?
I mean, just kind of scroll through them as well, see. Rest of them.
Andy, do you know when the next submission deadline is for the Conservation Board?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
All right, the only thing I see there, you gotta add the gate details.
Mm-hmm.
To encode
Okay.
line 8.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also make sure that your gate at the gazebo is 4 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a separate fence, actually, Robert. If you look, we've actually fenced that as part of the pool fence. We're not using any kind of existing fence on the gazebo.
Right, you come
No,
down
I
from
thought
the
you-
gazebo.
Oh, no, see, the fence is here.
I thought you said that at the bottom of the stairs, there was a
Correct. See
gate.
that?
Correct. You
That's
see,
all
it's a
new.
biparting gate
Got it.
right there.
Right.
Okay,
I mean, to make this work without grading, I mean, we'll have a platform, and basically, we're just going to drop that platform in place, and whatever is around it will be around it.
Right.
We won't touch it.
Bob, that's sort of like what we did at 11 Maple Way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. All right. I
you're
think
not
that
bringing
works.
in any fill, chip, right?
No,
That's all
we're just
sand.
going to drop that down. Anything, obviously, east of the easement, we can grade, but we're not going to cross that line.
Right. Right.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Okay.
you all. Nice
Take care.
to talk to you.
All right, I'll see you.
Yes.
Bye.
I was thinking the same.
Hi, Simon, how are you? Hi, Simon.
Hi, everyone. I'm
Morning.
here with my wife, Jamie.
Good morning.
Okay. So we've got your plans up. You want to take us through what you're proposing?
You wanna start?
Sure.
Sure, I'll start and then Fleming could fill in. We had a retaining wall that was wooden and has been falling apart for a couple of years now. And we had met with a landscaper who came to give us some ideas. And one idea was to obviously take it down and build a new stone retaining wall. And the other idea, which was more cost effective because we are on a budget and the price of supplies has really increased, was to just remove the retaining wall and then grade the land down to the street level and add in some fill and some grass just to have, a full yard and avoid the cost of adding the retaining wall due to the increased prices. So that was our plan. And do you want to add any more?
Yeah, so we elected to just smooth out the front yard. We pulled out the retaining wall that we had in there already. It was already hollowed out and leaning over. And that's where we're at right now.
Okay, I mean, usually we have a little bit more detail. John's the town engineer. I
Okay,
don't know
well,
what you
I mean,
need to see here.
How much fill are you proposing to bring?
Can I ask a question? Is it possible to do the Google Maps just to see where the fill is going? That might.
Yeah.
Because I think you guys said something like 400 yards was in
It's
the.
an area where we gave them a permit recently to cut trees down.
correct.
I always have a hard time, like I just did something with a driveway where like a dump truck is like 16 yards. So that's like 25 dump trucks of fill they're talking about. It's a lot of, it feels like a lot.
You say 25?
Quantify.
He said 25?
He said, I thought they had 400 yards was in the,
That's not here.
For this.
Oh, it's on the application.
on the application.
Gotcha,
Yeah, I think it
okay.
was- Yeah. Said no
I
more
said,
than
I didn't hear him
400.
say that.
And I don't, it may be a lot, it may not be, I just don't have a feel for it feels like a lot.
Where's it behind these trees?
Are the trees still there?
No.
On the diagram that that you see in front of you there, off to the right, you see a bunch of circles. Those are trees that we had already transplanted from all over the front. So there's a berm there, and those trees have now been relocated to the side over there alongside the house. I don't know if you can see that. It sounds like you were expecting more information. I did a search on North Castle regrading, looked for any requirements, any checklist, I even asked Ivan, and I asked Ivan if I even needed a permit when we were first going into this, and he mentioned that we don't. And then when he came later on, he acknowledged that, and he said he didn't because I never said anything about fill. I asked him if we need a permit to smooth out the hill that we were planning on doing instead of the retaining wall. So, I did the best I can in drawing that diagram, just as a layman. And where
Didn't somebody come out last week to just look at the
yeah,
land?
that was they came. Somebody came.
Yeah,
I think
so-
Adam, you came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went with the best information that was available and what was told to us. So if there was more information,
I get it. We get it. I think we just need to talk to the town engineer and Rob on what they're gonna want to see and.
So how many yards are you bringing in?
up to 400, he said not more.
And how deep is the fill gonna be? You're taking, how high is the wall?
It's
He's grading it down, he's cutting the wall out.
not there.
The wall?
Yeah.
The wall was about 2 to 3 feet all around to the front of the house.
Where the fill's going, where the wall used to be, is gonna be about 3 feet of fill, and then it's gonna taper down.
And exactly.
And where is the fill coming from?
Regeneron. And we provided the
soil test or?
the analytics that goes with soil, the soil
Yeah, I
testing.
saw two. I didn't see any data on the submission. There's only 2 pages of narrative.
There were 2 pages. One
So-
spoke,
No test information associated with it.
there was, did you see 2 pages?
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, to resubmit it, like, you're gonna have to get the fill permit, so you have to
I
submit.
mean,
all
you
that.
guys are gonna review that part of it.
Yeah, if you can get us the data on the test data. We don't want erosion controls down by the road. Anywhere where you're disturbing, so that no sediment washes off. We're gonna want to just say, we can do it with just a narrative on the restoration, topsoil and seeding and, mulching. So we make sure it gets restored quickly while you still can grow some grass.
Yeah.
You just don't want it to be laying there all winter bare. It's gonna erode on you.
Yeah.
So is
bring 'em-
everyone okay with this? I mean, generally speaking,
Yeah.
what they're proposing seems fine.
Yeah,
Can I also
So,
mention one
You
other
know, I'll
thing?
make a motion to send,
Go ahead.
I was gonna make a motion to send this to the building department. And then you'll get the fill permit and provide all that additional information that you need to get that fill permit.
Logistically, do they intend to do this immediately?
Yeah, I think your lawn's a mess.
I don't know, I haven't been out there.
Yeah.
We have to do it immediately.
I'm assuming you want it immediately.
Before
as
the
soon
end
as
of the
possible.
month. Yeah, ASAP.
Yeah.
As soon as we have the permit.
So I'll make a motion to send this to building.
Second,
to get the test information on the soil.
Let's
That's
just vote,
important.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so you're gonna go to the building department and then pull the fill permit, and you'll work with the town engineer and building department on it.
Okay, fair enough.
Say, okay, there's a window, they gotta get grass going.
4 to 6 weeks.
So I'm saying, so.
Okay.
Because he doesn't look at it between 4 to 6 weeks, you still have time to grow grass.
Close.
We could do this pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They give us. the
No, I was just asking.
Yeah,
him back on to you.
Yeah, we don't need much, we'll just make sure they have erosion controls in place. Get the fill in, get it topsoil and seed it quickly.
And if he
It's
runs
more
into,
your part
if he
of it.
runs into a little bit of a
Not
window
really
issue.
me, because I'm relying on
Maybe
you.
I'll
Yeah.
send one
Do
to you,
your review. Once your review's done, then
because,
I can issue this permit, it's nothing for me to
There's
review.
nothing to that
Yeah.
on the soil.
I
And if
mean,
it's coming from
You relate it.
Regeneron, sure they have.
It's-
it.
could be a couple.
This isn't
I
that,
don't
or
worry,
is
that
that
will provide a solution control diagram for us.
Yes.
yeah, that's good.
And then you gotta
Yeah.
pull a truck and say,
November.
be ready to come.
Okay, all right, you guys know what your next steps are?
Yes, we're gonna supply
Okay.
the paperwork and then go down to the building department and submit for a permit. for the fill.
Exactly, okay, and we'll post just we'll post everything that happened today later this afternoon. You'll have that for your records.
We'd be
Great.
grateful.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
so
you for your
much.
understanding.
Okay,
Appreciate it. Have a good
Thanks.
day, everybody.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
bye.
all right, take care.
All right, you too.